And we are back, Rock Loves. As promised, here's the interview with one of my favorite musicians, Gregg Fox of Renaissance Rock Orchestra. Turn it up. Hey, Rock Loves. Lily Sixx of Rock Rage Radio on the phone with creator, composer, and keyboardist of the larger-than-life band, the Renaissance Rock Orchestra from Las Vegas. How are you today?
I am doing great. How is everybody out in Rock Rage Radio land?
Doing good, but I'm freezing my butt off here in Pittsburgh, I'll tell you that.
Well, it won't make you happy to know that I'm running around in shorts with all my windows and doors open and the sun is shining and yeah. And I just got off, and not only that, but I just got off my Harley. I took a Harley ride a little bit earlier just to take a break.
Super
from
jealous.
The music biz. Yeah, it was really nice. A little windy today. It got a little bit nippy, but not too bad.
Yeah, so we were -1 this morning when I woke up.
Oh my God!
I know, for real, right?
Yeah, I think we're hanging out somewhere between 60 and 65. So I really can't complain, can I?
Not at all. Anyway, glad to have you back on the show.
Yeah, it's good to be back. How have you been?
I'm doing great. Super busy, so that's good, as always, you know. We've spoken before, obviously, and most of us know about the amazing union that you have, all your musicians in your band and everything. But for the listeners who might not know, why don't you just give me like a brief background real quick?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I started, let's see, it's kind of it can be a long story. I don't think we ever talked about my whole sailboat experience when I was sailing around the Bahamas for about 7 years. But after I was done with that, around 2009, I moved to Venice Beach, California, and real quickly, Foreigner had asked me to go on tour with them, which I didn't end up doing, but it was amazing to kind of get back into the music business and have so many exciting things happen so fast. And from there, I started having my bass player and best friend, Mikey Bones, from Las Vegas come out to Venice Beach, where I was living in this $3 million house right on the Grand Canal. It was pretty fun and exciting. And we started writing music for something that would end up being called the Renaissance Rock Orchestra, which was a fun, exciting thing. And so I don't think I was in Venice Beach for maybe 2.5 years. And Mikey said, dude, you got to move to Las Vegas. There's so much going on here. All the classic rockers from LA and from California are moving to Vegas because of prices in California. And so there's so much going on. You got to get here. So, sure enough, moved to Las Vegas and started putting a show together with Mikey that we were originally going to call, of all things, and you'll get a kick out of this, we were going to call the show Rock of Ages, which ended up getting taken and used by someone else. But in the meantime, when I landed over here, I don't think I was here for 6 months, and I don't tell people this often, but I ended up playing the Academy of Country Music Awards for Miley Cyrus.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, on the song of hers, The Climb. And of course, that was broadcast on CBS in front of 36 million people. And I think there was about 30,000 people at the MGM Grand Arena where we performed. So that was kind of a neat thing. But I kept being asked to be in a lot of these shows around Las Vegas. There was a show here at that point in time that went for several years called the Rock Gods Hall of Fame. Fun. And I was the keyboard player for that with guitarist and singer Jason Ebbs, along with his wife Janaea. And we played with just about everybody there was to play with, everybody from Vinny Appice to Bumblefoot to Doug Aldridge. It just goes on and on and on. Frankie Benali, and it's a long list. We did many shows, Michael Anthony, and so it was a very fun period of time. And little did I know that about 3 years later, after doing that they would end up giving me an award. So I have one of those on my wall from the Rock Gods Hall of Fame, which was fun. But all this experience doing all those kind of shows, and when we did those shows, by the way, Jason and Janae had an original band called Ecotonic with Chris Slade, the drummer from ACDC. Yeah. So we did a lot of shows with Chris from ACDC, and it was like a bucket list thing for me because we got to play Blinded by the Light with Chris Slade, who is the original drummer that played with Manfred Mann on the original of Blinded by the Light, or the one that had the big hit anyway.
Right.
I know that Springsteen wrote it, but
nobody really cares about that.
But that was a pretty amazing thing. And so being around all these rock stars, and of course playing in the Moby Dicks and the Hollywood All Stars originally, which turned into the Las Vegas All Stars for a while there. I was playing with everybody there is to play with, and it was such a great pool of talent to have available for me with the Renaissance Rock Orchestra. So like in 2014, I started writing and released the first record, the Whitesnake Trilogy with Renaissance Rock Orchestra. And on that record, I had Brent Fitz on drums, and let's see, I think I had Scott Rockenfield on drums on that one, Brian Tichy on drums on that one, and Robin McCauley sang on that first record. From Michael Schenker Group and Macaulay Schenker Group. And so it was a great start. So my theory with the Renaissance Rock Orchestra from the start has been kind of a revolving door of rock stars.
Yes.
All the most amazing talents. And my hope was that we would take them on this journey forward into the future with new material. I mean, many of them are out there doing a lot of the old material that they've been doing for decades.
Right.
Decades and decades, just repeating the old thing. And everybody was very excited about the music that I was writing. My original plan was to kind of have it be, I used the Trans-Siberian Orchestra template.
Right.
Their business model, right? Mm-hmm. So the music was, on the first record, mostly instrumental, a lot of classical metal, things that I wrote. One of our biggest original pieces is a piece that I wrote that was originally written by Bach, a piece that is a piano warm-up piece that I've always loved. And I turned it the piece is about a minute and a half piece that Bach wrote called Solfeggietto. And I turned it into about a 4-minute piece, so all the rest of that material is all mine. And I just kept expanding on the themes that Bach had originally written. And we ended up naming the piece J.S. Rock, kind of a play on words, kind of like J.S. Bach, but J.S. Rock. And, of course, you can see that on Renaissance Rock Orchestra on YouTube, and it's available on Spotify from the first record. And very, very proud of that. It's a big favorite of everybody's over the years. And another piece from that record that Robin McCauley sang on was a song called The Author of Mystery. That, as a matter of fact, I just posted that on Facebook and I think on Instagram today too. And just to kind of take everybody back, I consider it to be kind of classic by Renaissance Rock Orchestra at this point. And it's Robin McCauley's favorite song. He says it's the best song I've ever written and that I will probably ever write is what he says. Now, I hate to believe that's true. I think there's a lot more material in me. But I do love the song. And on that one, we had Brian Tichy on drums and George Lynch played it just blazing hot guitar solo.
Very cool.
So, yeah, people should check out The Author of Mystery. It's not about book writers, authors. It's really about God and the universe, and it's kind of a question about our existence.
Yeah.
Kind of a funny story. When I was living in Venice Beach, California, I happened to see some kind of news article on the internet about this little town in England that some strange events were happening. They kept finding these rocks that were carved with faces carved on them and symbols carved on them. And the symbols, they found out, meant paradox. But they couldn't figure out who was doing it. And, they'd be placed throughout this village. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was a fascinating story. So when I wrote the lyrics for Author of Mystery, I kind of made it a duality in lyrics. It tells the storyline of this event that happens, and it questions who did it and why they did it. But then in the chorus, I turn it around to our existence and God. Who created the universe and why and
I mean, that makes for epic songwriting. So
yeah. There's a great line at the end of the chorus that says, "But the author of this mystery will smile, but not reply." And it's a reference to the man on the moon and the smile we see in the moon.
Okay,
and all the questions that we ask and we ask about the existence of God. And so the author of this mystery smiles, but never really gives us an answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be something that leads the listener to ponder the question of God and his existence, etc., etc. A little heavy, but the verses are really fun. That song has a little bit of a Jethro Tull feel to it because there's a lot of time changes in the verses.
I can get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes through several different changes that are really fun. But so yeah, the concept continued to expand from there. On our second album, we had 27 rock stars.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. I couldn't believe all the people that were so excited about the music I was writing. It was kind of unique and a little bit prog-ish, a little bit prog metal, progressive metal.
Mm-hmm.
But there's influences in my writing that, takes you back to Led Zeppelin, takes you to Queen, Van Halen, Dream Theater, things like that. So I try not to make it too crazy and too hard. It's very melodic at the same time that a lot of it is very driven too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on that record we had 9 different drummers, including Roxy Petrucci from Vixen.
Yes, I love her.
Simon Wright from ACDC, Vinny Appice, of course, from Dio
mm-hmm.
and Black Sabbath, and let's see who else. We had Ben Smith from Heart. We had Brent Fitz from Slash and Alice Cooper. I know that I'm forgetting somebody. Alan White from Yes.
Oh, okay, yes.
In the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That was a bucket list thing for me to have Alan White on one of my records. He plays on a song called Secrets in the Sand.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of the closest thing I've ever written to a Yes piece, probably. And he had a real fun time with it, and it was a very, very exciting thing. Robin McCauley sings on that song. And throughout that record, which is called In Times of Old, that was our second record, and that was released in 2018. There were some things that went on in my life. The love of my life passed away in 2015, and some things kind of made it hard to write songs and to get the song produced, the album produced, etc. And it was a little while before the release on that one, and it was very a lot of very complex music that I think everybody's really going to enjoy if they haven't heard it yet. On In Times of Old, there's 3 singers on that record that include Robin McCauley from Macaulay Schenker Group and Survivor, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Mark Boals from Yngwie Malmsteen and Dokken and Ted Nugent singing on that. We also have a guy named Brett Kaiser from Phoenix, has a remarkable voice. And that album, the majority of the bass parts are my best friend of 25 years, and my bass player, and he and I were in a band in Phoenix. I had mentioned him already. Mikey Bones is his name, Michael Gerbino. Michael passed away in 2017, but I'm glad to be able to have memorialized a lot of his brilliant bass playing on the record In Times of Old. And so he was the main bass player on that record. We had Phil Suzanne play bass on one track on that record. And let's see who Francesco Di Cosmo played a track with Brent Fitz called Alexander Symphony, another TSO type epic classical metal masterpiece, and he did a brilliant job on that too. And guitar players, let's see, as long as we're talking about the 27 rock stars that there are on In Times of Old, I know that it's impossible to remember everybody, but it was fun to have Robbie Lochner from Great White playing a song called The Ice Age Cometh, and to have George Lynch do a guitar solo in The Author of Mystery is really blazing. Bumblefoot from Guns N' Roses played a guitar solo on the track called My Lonely Heart with Ben Smith from Heart on drums and Brett Kaiser on vocals. And let's see, we had Joel Hoekstra also. The last track on that record is called The Maker of Dreams. It's one of my favorites because it's a very extensive kind of a prog rock masterpiece called The Maker of Dreams, and Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake, Cher, and Trans-Siberian Orchestra played on that one, and that one just really, really kicks ass too. It's a brilliant guitar solo on that. Please check out The Maker of Dreams on YouTube, everybody, or on Spotify or whatever your streaming platform is. We're out there everywhere on Apple Music and Tidal and Deezer and Spotify, so it's really easy to stream our music. And
did I see you guys were on TikTok as well now?
We are now on TikTok.
Yes.
We just launched our TikTok account.
No.
So, yeah, I know. That's the way I felt about it, too. I kept going, really? Do we really need to do TikTok? But management and record labels were all going, you got to go do TikTok. So that's just a whole nother thing. You know, the content creation that I've put into this project over the course of the last several years, but particularly the last year, is just so intense. You know, most of last year I was releasing new videos twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday on YouTube. So, our podcast is on there. Your radio show is on there. And of course, this one will be too.
Absolutely.
And, but there's a lot of music. I do things called Behind the Music too, where I explain, what happened on a track in the studio and who performed on it and how I wrote the song and what it means and all that. Those are kind of fun to check out on YouTube also. But yeah, so we're on TikTok. Everybody go follow us on TikTok. We don't have very many followers yet, but it'll get there.
I mean, now that we talked about it, you'll probably be like crazy TikTok followers.
Well,
I'm not familiar with TikTok. I'm older. I don't know. You know.
You're not a TikTok person. It's kind of fun in a way. There's a lot of fun videos. They're all short, of course, but I still have to create that content every day. So
right.
And I do that every day now. So
I know you're super busy.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. And besides that, I'm writing our 4th record right now. And also I've decided at this point that, you know, the interesting thing about this project and where it's going, and, you know, we had a big year last year, with having our big first debut show for the public here in Las Vegas. We had done a show before that at VAMP, but it was just for investors and for management and things like that. It was kind of a showcase event.
Right.
But so we did this one on Fremont Street at a club called Notoriety, and it was a pretty big deal. And it was a very, very successful show. It's not a huge club, so I think we had about 150, 160 people there.
Right.
And it was fun to bring in Tony Franklin on bass from The Firm, who played with Paul Rogers and Jimmy Page. So, if anybody remembers the big hit from back in the 80s, Radioactive, and he is just a monster. You know, he was also in Blue Murder, and he played in Whitesnake, and Tony is just the nicest guy in the world and a brilliant bass player. His nickname and all his handles on social media are the Fretless Monster. So he plays fretless bass, and he's just so talented. And to have him play with the band was really remarkable. We had such a successful event. I had spent months and months putting together this really beautiful multimedia video presentation that was up on this 40-foot screen behind the band. So the videos all were timed to fit all the music perfectly and to fit the themes and the lyrical content of all the songs that we were doing. And so we had Brian Tichy on drums for that. Mark Boals on vocals, of course. He's our number one main live lead singer these days. On guitars, we had Christian Brady from Hell Yeah, who is our part of the live RRO team, and Tony Alleman from One Crusader's Rat on second guitar. And we had a fantastic violinist from here in Las Vegas, a real rocker chick that does a lot of work with a lot of different violin acts and different shows. Her name is Marlo Zamartis, and she really kicked ass on a lot of our material too. So that was a very, very exciting event to get that kicked off. And my plan with that was to kind of try to fill up some of that void that the music scene was missing at the time. And of course we're still having problems with Live Nation and AEG and doing big, a lot of shows.
Right. We do have big shows going on here in Las Vegas, this summer and this fall. I went out to see Kid Rock and Billy Idol and REO Speedwagon, and they were all packed shows. But it's been kind of an interesting thing for my project because it's an unbranded, unknown act to so many still at this point. And the medium-sized rooms here in Las Vegas, a lot of those people were there and had made a lot of promises to me that they loved the act. Let's get this going. But Las Vegas still wasn't
quite open at that point. It still isn't completely open. A lot of those medium-sized rooms, those 300 to 500 seat rooms in the casinos, whether they're Boyd gaming rooms like the Cannery, or whether they're Station casinos or Red Rock casinos, a lot of those medium-sized rooms are still not going full-time like they used to. It used to be 5, 6 nights a week, and we're still at the point where I think the Station casinos are just starting to get up to like doing weekends now, Fridays and Saturdays at most of their Station casinos, but not all of them. And that has been difficult for me because I had hoped that we were really going to launch Renaissance Rock Orchestra full time,
right?
And get off to the races and be doing a lot of shows. And a lot of the promises that we were made did not happen. So we're still waiting for that to happen this year, but. We just finished our new press kit and got that off to the Station casinos and to Boyd Gaming. So we're expecting that things are going to come together here in the next month or so with some of those gigs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was kind of a frustrating thing about doing the show. We did that July 29th, and oh gosh, it was so exciting and so fun to finally get the thing launched.
Right, and it's hard right now, unfortunately, with everything still being mostly shut down or partially shut down. So it's a pain in the ass. I can totally understand that.
It really is. There's I've built a new business model that I'm planning on kind of launching here this year, and I think we're going to have great success with it. I think we're going to start producing a lot of our own shows.
Very cool.
And kind of doing a partnership thing with the venues, and it looks like that might work out to be kind of a big thing. On some of them, I think that we'll bring in some very well-known acts that will open up for, and I'm very excited about that business model too, and what all the things that will end up happening, but that's kind of a brand new thing that we just put together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so management and the agents and venues are all discussing that now, and we have to, of course, work out the right schedule and make sure the numbers are right for the room and the venue that we choose, and that the acts are available, a lot of things like that. So that will be several months away, I'm sure, but I know that's something that we can look forward to have happening this year, and very, very excited about that because everybody in the band is just dying to play.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, that's what you guys do. That's what you guys want to do. You don't want to sit around and wait for everything, and I always...
Just continue writing and recording, yeah.
Right, and I keep saying to myself, I'm like, I have to go to Vegas to see this band, because I kind of feel that's the only way I'm going to, like, get the full experience.
Well, I hope that we have some big things going on with NASCAR. One of my sponsors is a NASCAR owner, and he has been supporting the band pretty well and investing in the project and supporting us with the NASCAR Corporation. And we're hoping to start doing some NASCAR events at a number of tracks around the country this year. So,
very cool.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big thing, and I hope we get in front of some big crowds. I know it's possible at some of those events to play in front of 100,000 people. A lot of those tracks really have gigantic crowds, and what a beautiful way that would be to brand the act and to make sure that the world finally knows about Renaissance Rock Orchestra.
like I do, and like a lot of my friends do, but hopefully bigger crowds than just me.
That will help a lot. That will really help a lot to brand the act and spread the news and really build up our social media, which is such a challenge to try to gain traction.
Oh, yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, please go follow us on Spotify, everybody. I was using a marketing company on Spotify. You have to be very careful with Spotify. They're very particular about how you go about doing things, and apparently one of the playlist brokers I was using was not doing everything on the up and up. I don't know if they were using bots or what they were doing. And I had that build up to over 5,000 followers, and I was starting to feel pretty good about it. We're heading the right direction. And Spotify dumped me. We still have the Spotify account. You can still hear our records there. Mm-hmm. But they dumped all of my followers.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're down to like 100 followers. We're starting from scratch again. It's like, you've got to be kidding. And of course, it took a long time to build that up, and the investment involved with marketing companies and PR firms. So it's like, oh my God, that one hurt.
Yeah, for real. Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, watch out for that. Those Spotify algorithms are very, very particular. You have to really be very organic and very careful about the way you go about doing it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is. Wow. That one hurt.
Well, you guys seem super busy. I can't wait to finally see you when I do. And I mean, I know all of my musician friends who are listening to this are just super jealous of you for working with so many amazing people.
Well, I'm very, very blessed that way. I've been so lucky, and to have everybody jump on board, and the people that are in the live band now, and to record on all the records. You know, our last record, our COVID release, I should talk about that for a minute too. During COVID, of course, you know, you can't do gigs. What are you going to do? As a composer and a creator, you're going to write. So that's what I spent all of 2020 doing. And we wrote and recorded a record, an EP, a 5-song record called A Song of Hope 2020. Most of those songs from A Song of Hope 2020 are available on Spotify and Pandora and all the other streaming platforms. And of course, if you wanted to get a hard copy of that CD or any of our CDs, the best way to do that is actually just to direct message me on Instagram, or leave a message on Renaissance Rock Orchestra Facebook, or on Gregg Fox on Facebook, and of course that's Gregg. But yeah, you know, a lot of people that want hard copies. There are people that still listen to CDs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm one of them. So
yeah. So if anybody wanted to get a hard copy, that's the way to do it. Of course, I ship it out to you, and we can do PayPal or Venmo or Zelle or whatever you use. It's very, very easy. But yeah, A Song of Hope 2020 I'm very, very proud of that record. I went a little less proggish, a little less metalish on the record. I tried to make it in some ways a little bit more commercial. And our first single off that record is called In My Lovin' Arms. And on In My Lovin' Arms, we have Michael James Romeo from Symphony X on guitar. And it's something that everybody really needs to go check out on YouTube or Spotify or wherever. Check out In My Lovin' Arms. The guitar solo by Michael James Romeo on that track is just mind-blowing. You know, he's considered to be one of the top 10 metal guitar players in the world, according to Burn magazine. Yeah. And it's just crazy, crazy good. And Mark Boals' vocals on the track are phenomenally powerful. That's another song I'm very proud to have for the writing and the composition on that song. And, you know, I tried to write songs on A Song of Hope that kind of gave people encouragement and inspiration to make it through this whole pandemic thing and get to the other side. And, you know, nobody knew what was going to happen at that point in time. And you know, people were dying. And I've had people around the world comments on the YouTube and email and talking about how that song got them through the loss of parents and the loss of jobs and having to move. You know, I almost had to move out of Las Vegas myself because I could barely stay in the place that I've lived in for a decade now. Right. But I did survive it and stayed here, and I'm looking forward to the fact that I was able to stay here and again get the show going in Las Vegas and around the country. But on a Song of Hope, I kind of tried to go for more of a core band. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat.
I can. I'm like loving it.
This is Bubba. Bubba's kind of becoming a little bit famous too because I keep posting pictures of him on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I'm sitting here on the couch and he came up and he always tries to get in and start doing a little mowing for everybody.
He wants to be on the interview.
He wants to be on the interview too. He's got a lot to talk about. I'll tell you, he's a big talker.
That's great.
Kind of a blowhard. But so on A Song of Hope, I wanted to kind of develop a little, kind of expand at the sound of the Renaissance Rock Orchestra with a core group of players. So I had Brian Tichy from Whitesnake and Foreigner do all the drums. I brought in Greg Smith, a good friend of mine, who was also a good friend of Mikey Bones. And Greg played one of Mikey's basses on many of the tracks. Greg played with Alice Cooper and Rainbow and Ted Nugent. He's still with Ted Nugent, just did the new Ted Nugent album. And phenomenal bass player. And he was with Alan Parsons. The list just goes on and on with Greg Smith. Phenomenal bass player. So there's some brilliant bass parts on the record. Our second release on that record is a song called Circus Life.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
That's a fun one. Yeah, kind of a Queen-sounding song. Has a lot of brilliant Queen-like harmonies that I arranged for Mark Boals. He actually extended a lot of those harmonies and did some things on his own that I thought were just really, really beautiful. And that has Tony Alleman. Well, Michael James Romeo played the rhythm guitars on that one, strangely enough, and Tony Alleman ended up doing the guitar solo, a very Brian May-ish guitar solo, Circus Life. Yeah, check out Circus Life, another song that I'm very, very proud of off that record. You know, the second track has always been a favorite of mine. It's a song that I wrote years and years ago, but I've never put on an album, and the way it turned out was phenomenal. Michael James Romeo did the guitar solos on that. It's called Here We Are Again, and just recently I've been having a lot of people now that it's out on Spotify and Apple Music, a lot of people hearing it and going, you know, that's my favorite track, because it's a song about a rock band, an up-and-coming rock band, trying to make it and practicing and having day jobs and
it's very relatable.
But playing rock and roll every night is very relatable.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's Here We Are Again. And then the last song on the record, A Song of Hope, it is a little bit Kansas-ish, a little bit more progressive metal than Kansas maybe, but so you'll hear some Kansas stylings in there in the lyrics, and this is another song that people have been listening to a lot and saying the song's been used at, in funerals and to help people kind of get through the pandemic and all the different horrible experiences that we've gone through with the whole COVID thing. But yeah, so A Song of Hope 2020 is the COVID record that we did, and I was kept releasing different songs off that, like every other month over the course of 2021, just so we had new material while I'm writing and recording record number 4. And but I've decided that I never released the 5th track, so it's not available on Spotify or Pandora by itself, but I'm releasing it as the entire record, which is going to be released March 10th.
Very cool.
So I'm trying to get the whole pre-save thing set up. The whole pre-save thing is an important way to affect the Spotify algorithm, which gets it out there in front of a lot more people, which we need to get a lot more followers on Spotify. It's such an important platform these days. And so that's why I wanted to release it. Give us some time to give people a chance to pre-order and to pre-save that record so it can help build up the Renaissance Rock Orchestra Spotify algorithm. So yeah, look forward to checking out the whole record, and that 5th track, which is called The Universal Dance, that will be a bonus track, and everybody that pre-saves and orders it, I will be sending that track so that they have it right away.
Love it. All right, very cool. I can't wait. And I hear Kitty Cat there.
Do you heard him again?
Yeah. He agrees.
Baba, yeah. You gonna talk to everybody?
Oh. I
Go
love
ahead,
it.
give us a nice loud one. Give us one of your rock and roll screams, Baba. Come on. No way, not when you ask.
Now he's being shy. All right, awesome. So, listeners, you definitely want to check out the band Renaissance Rock Orchestra. They are literally everywhere, so you have no excuse not to hear them. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, TikTok even now, so go check them out. And Gregg, as always, it's a pleasure speaking to you. You're one of my favorite interviewees.
Oh, thank you so much, Lily. I always have fun talking with you, too. I appreciate your support so much.